You had an amazing time with the Mets, but then you moved on to the Yankees. So after this rehab, you came back to the Mets for a little while.
Came back to the Mets for a little bit.
And then how did you end up with the Yankees?
So what happened, I came back to the Mets after that was in 87. Mm-hmm. I went 7 years, stayed clean the whole time from drugs, drinking the whole time. Mm-hmm. 1994, I pitched opening day in Chicago. Mm-hmm. I pitched, a guy, Tuffy Rose, hits 3 homers off me. I break my foot. And so now I'm pissed. So when I was rehabbing my foot,
oh my goodness,
I was going to the monitors. I was hanging out in the strip club. I was steady drinking.
Oh.
So I'll go to the money, rehab, throw, and then right away, I'm like, wow, they're not testing me down here.
I see. So you started again.
Started back up. And it was meant to be. I started back up, and now I go to money start, and the guy is there to test me from them. It was like somebody saw me, I don't know. He said, we're here to test you. So how to get to the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
So in 94, I break my foot, and I'm working out. Notice they're not testing me because I'm rehabbing with the minor league players.
Yeah.
So I go to strip club, some girl had something I start back using. Like, man, and then the next time I go to throw, the guy from Major Baseball, the drug test me. I'm like, oh, shit. And I got nowhere around it. I'm like, well, I haven't done that before.
Could you deny doing it? Could you say no this time or no?
When they're there, if you don't test, it's like a positive
they'll know.
test.
Yeah, okay.
But then I'm thinking, I'm like, well, I haven't done it in 2 days. I'm trying to count hours, all this crazy stuff. I say, maybe I'm all right. Or maybe they give another shot.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I do it. I test positive again. So I say, now we got to give you 90 days. Because first it's 60 days, there's 90 days. So you're going to suspend me 90 days. No, 60. I'm sorry, 60 days. This was my first one. The first one, the Mets sent me to rehab, so it was 60 days.
Okay.
But wow. So they sent me to Betty Ford. So I go to Betty Ford. I do my month there, do everything. And I know what I have to do because this time I go to Betty Ford, I want to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm learning everything about it. Doing the 12 steps, doing everything. So before the season, when I got out.
So you got some tools while you were there, you think?
Yeah, got the tools, definitely. And plus, my wife at the time, who I married, she was pregnant. So I fly back home, but I had to go to New York first to see the doctors before I go home.
Okay.
I saw doctors, and there's one doctor who don't know nothing about nothing. He goes, well, why don't you just drink instead of using? Even though I know you're not supposed to do that, but the trick, I'm thinking, my sick thoughts was like, yeah, maybe I should just drink and not do nothing else. On the plane in Tampa the next day, I started drinking on the plane.
Right after rehab.
Right after rehab. I get home. I didn't go home for 3 days. Right back on the bench again. Right back at that. Then get tested. Test positive. At that point, it's like I had given up myself.
At that point, you knew you had a real
I knew I had a real problem. Yes.
But you didn't have the wherewithal to say, I want to stop.
No. So I did it. But it was like I kind of wanted to get caught because I didn't have I guess my ego would allow me to call them and say, hey, look, I relapsed. I need help. So.
But I'm just curious from someone who's listening to this, your love of the game or, I don't know, the fear that your father would be angry or that the money would run out because you wouldn't have a job, none of that stuff stopped you from doing drugs, which I think is an important thing that you said no, because people that have an addiction, people that don't have an addiction don't understand, how difficult it is to stop.
Oh, it's very, very much. I mean, you're sick. You're not just, I wasn't myself. I was very sick.
Yes.
I was in denial.
Yeah.
Even after testing positive and going to treatment and knowing myself, they only speak for 3 days. And like I said, I had kids, it didn't matter. My wife is pregnant.
Yeah.
My dad and mom already heard him one time.
Yeah.
I got my baseball career. I'm doing something that I love. The only thing I know, making a decent amount of money. Yeah. Just built a house. And still, the drug was more important than all of that because of the sickness. And my ego wouldn't allow me to ask for help. And all I needed was that one doctor to say, drink and don't do anything else.
Yeah.
Knowing I can't drink.
What a shitty doctor.
Yes. Because those doctors, they have the job, but they don't have the experience. Right. So, but I can't blame him.
No, of course not.
Because I knew better. And so I go back out. And then when I get that letter, they said, and when I tested positive, I could have said, because off season, I could have said, I'm on a cruise, I'm this, I'm that. But it's like I wanted to get caught because I said,
you were
okay.
just done.
Yeah, I know. I went, took the test, knowing what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So they go, what are you thinking? The amount you have in your system could have died. This and that, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's still sitting and say, well, basically I was trying to kill myself. Technically I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Kind of hoping that one time I do it, I just said, well, I mean, it's a selfish thing, but that's where I was.
Yeah.
So then I get a letter from Buzz Selig. And I'll read the letter. It said you're suspended for the entire 95 season.
Wow.
And I'm looking at the letter, I'm reading the letter, and I keep reading the letter, and I put it down, walk around, I go read the letter again. I'm like, something I got to miss. But that hit hard.
Yeah.
And again, instead of saying, okay, I got to go back in and get help. And they tried to say, go back. I said, no, I'll be fine. For the next 2 months, I went hard. Partying. Missing my kids' birthdays. I mean, I just hit rock bottom. I mean, hard. Very hard. And I still was like in denial because I'm still like, who can I call? I want to go to Japan and play.
Right.
Because somebody told me you can still go to Japan and play. And this guy, Ray Negron, who's a good friend of mine now, he works for the Yankees, he said, I'll get you to Japan, but I got this guy I want you to meet. And this guy's name was Ron Dock. He was he has I don't know how many years clean at the time, but he became my sponsor. Said we're gonna go to a meeting every day. We're gonna work out. Then we're gonna eat together. Then you spend time with your family. So
finally, you found someone who was not enabling.
Right, wasn't enabling. It was caring. And every day they come by in the morning, pick me up. We go work out. Come home, I shower. We go eat. We go to a meeting. That was a routine. Then I started liking myself again. My kids started forgetting. I started picking my kids up from school, spending time with my wife, spending time with my parents, and started getting back on track. And then I told the guy, I said, you know what? I don't want to go to Japan. I want to take this time and get my life back together. I don't care about baseball. I got to get my life back now because I understand I hurt these people, but I want to do it for myself.
So what'd you do that year to get your life back together?
Going to meetings every day.
Oh, that was what you did, just being active in the program. Active,
yes.
So you didn't go back to rehab?
Home group? No, I didn't go back to rehab. Okay. I just found a good home group.
And it worked that year?
Because these guys was old school. They knew, call you out, go read what you're doing. They had, certain nights we go to dance, we go skating. So I felt like, okay, now.
You had a purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
I started understanding it. So I got on track to doing that. And then the scouts started coming and watching me throw.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then Sheffield, my nephew was with the Marlins. He said, I get you a trial with the Marlins. But still, I was out the 95 season. The end of 95, my suspension was up. So I went down to Miami. I threw. And they said, okay, we'll sign it. They offered me a 2-year deal. But I couldn't officially sign, but we shook hands. And then they said, I told them, I said, I'm going to go to Puerto Rico, throw a little bit because I hadn't thrown. They said, okay. Ray had been with the Yankees, working for them for a long time. So he told me, he goes, I got good news and bad news. I said, okay, what's the bad news? He goes, the Marlins, they say you got to go to Puerto Rico first, and then they'll decide whether they want to guarantee a contract. He said, or you can sign with the Yankees. They'll guarantee your contract right now. And plus, I want to go back to New York anyway. I love New York. I want to make it right with the fans. So I took the deal with the Yankees. The next day, Gary calls me and goes, man, what are you doing? I thought we had a deal. He said, yeah, but Dombrowski, who was the general manager, said I had to go to Puerto Rico first. He never said that. So Ray never talked to the Marlins. He made the whole thing up.
Oh, wow.
To get me back to the Yankees. I mean, it worked out good. He made the whole thing up. I'm like, man, you made me look bad, but
how did the fans react when they found out you were coming back to New York?
I think it was mixed. I think the Yankees fans was happy I'm coming, but the Mets fans had mixed emotions.
Did they see you as a traitor? I'm curious.
No, because I made it sure when I did my press conference, I told them that I love what the Yankees are doing. Mr. Steinbrenner, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to play. But I said, Mets fans, I'm sorry the way it ended. But I wanted to come back, but unfortunately they wanted to cut ties, which I understand. Yeah. Move on. And so I went to the Yankees. But the thing that you bring up with that question, just to fast forward a little bit. Yeah. So I played with the Yankees for 2 years, 96, 97. And then I called the Mets after that. Steve Phillips, the general manager. I said, hey, I'd like to come back to the Mets. He goes, unfortunately, I got no room. We wish you the best. So I signed with Cleveland, 98, 99. After 99, which I wasn't the pitcher I was before, but I was pretty good. Yeah. I called him again. He said, unfortunately, Doc, we wish you the best. We got nothing there. So then in 2000, I signed with Houston, pitched 1 game, got traded to Tampa, pitched 8 games, got released. Called the Mets again. I said, I'll go to the minors. I'll do whatever. I just want to come back to the Mets. But I still want to make it right with the fans. Yeah. I said, no, unfortunately, can't do it. So Mr. Steinbrenner called me. But I want to still play. I was living in Tampa at the time. So yes. He said, come work out with us. If you don't work out, you come work for me. Went with the Yankees, threw a little bit, worked out. I actually got the pitching against the Mets. I beat them. I beat the Mets in the World Series. And I was going to retire. I called the Mets again, say, can I sign a 1-day contract so I can retire as a Met? They said no. Oh, wow. That really hurt it. I understood. But it goes full circle because now, next year, they're going to retire my number.